Hey everybody, it's Liam Landry here with the Small Wrestling Alliance, giving you my review of the April 11th episode of NXT, and I'll tell you if it was worth it. So this is the NXT following the very great TakeOver New Orleans that happened just this past Saturday. And like most episodes of NXT following the TakeOver, they're very underwhelming because they don't really have that much in the way of matches or new storylines, because most of it is just retelling what happened at TakeOver. Now, I understand why they do this, because Raw and SmackDown always done that. I guess that's why they kind of continue with this. But the reason Raw and SmackDown does it is because they're trying to get people to buy pay-per-views or buy the network. But if you're watching NXT, you're already on the network. I mean, I know there's other places to watch it, but most people are probably watching on the network itself. So it would make no sense to watch the NXT after a takeover and not the takeover itself, But either way, I also understand the idea that a lot of the wrestlers have to wrestle on takeover, and they can't have them on that episode as well for the next week, because it would give away to the crowd what's going to happen at takeover. But I also feel that there's enough wrestlers that they could put on a full show, even without the people, even without the people that was on Takeover. Even when it is a very stacked Takeover like we had this past Saturday, I think there's still enough people there, to kind of fill in the gaps. So we only had two matches, one at the very beginning and one at the very end. And everything else is, like I was saying, just replays from the Saturday before and some backstage interviews. I would just kind of go ahead and say all of that's very skippable, because, just watch TakeOver. I mean, you definitely should watch that. And like I said before, there's no reason to watch NXT after TakeOver and not watch the TakeOver as well. Wouldn't make any sense, anyways. We'll just go right into the matches then that we did have. We start off with Kairi Sane versus Lacey Evans, and this was okay. I don't really like the style that they did there, which is the underdog, the very old strategy of the good guy underdog get beat up by the heel and then make their comeback and end up winning at the end. I'm not a big fan of that style, but as for that style goes, it was still a very good execution of it. Kairi Sane plays a really good underdog in any other match that she's in, including this one, and she has great comeback ability. So it's quite compelling. But I'm not in it. So if you like that style match, it would be worth it for you. But if you're like me and not a big fan of that very one-sided style of storytelling, then it's probably not going to be worth it for you. So it's kind of up for opinions, I would say. Beyond that, we then go to the last match of the night, because like I said, a whole bunch of stuff from that Saturday, a few backstage interviews. They also show some of the NXT call-ups that were on Raw and SmackDown, which, I mean, I guess is okay, but yeah, I mean, still nothing's interesting, because you've probably seen all this stuff already, and it's just kind of replays, and like I said, very skippable, if you ask me. We get to our last match of the night, which is Heavy Machinery versus the tag team of Sabatelli and Moss, and this was really good. I feel that they've been improving as teams, working together, because this is their third match they've had in the last few months, and I think they're getting real good. They had some real fun spots in there. I was getting into it, pretty entertaining. They did, a little bit of the, hot tag stuff, but they did in the right way. I felt, where, they both kind of start off on equal footing, then Moss and Sabatelli got the upper hand a bit, but it was only kind of a short bit, just to kind of get you wanting that hot tag, and then they got the hot tag, and then it just went back to being more, equal, I would say. So that's much better than, you know, like 5 or 6 minutes of one-sidedness. That you see a lot of tag team matches in the WWE. So it was fun. It was entertaining. We didn't end up getting a winner in this one, unlike the first match of the night, which Cara Sane won. We didn't end up getting a winner for this match because um, before it ended, we actually had a run-in from a new debuting tag team in uh, the War Raiders. They're formerly known as War Machine back in the India circuit, but they changed their name. I would guess probably for legal reasons because of the copyright on War Machine. Because I know Disney owns copyrights for the comic book character slash movie and TV show. So I guess they'd probably run in trouble for that. So maybe that's why they changed it. But they, ran in and they showed a very impressive debut. They showed the fact that the reason War Machine has been impressing people for the last few years is because they're two big men that can also move very well, and they really showed that off in their debut. It wasn't just a whole lot of abuse. It was just not. It wasn't just a whole lot of them throwing people around and beating people up. They did come in and show some more not high flying moves, but more quick strikes and stuff like that. So they kind of showed off that they're not just big men, so it was a good way to debut them and get people to know their style and their techniques. And I also think it's a good way to show them basically coming in and attacking two tag teams. So I think it's a really good debut. And overall, the segment and the match was worth it. I also think this is a perfect time to move them up because AOP went and debuted on Raw at the WrestleMania, so that they can really fill in that type of character, that type of category of the monster heels. I'm assuming they're gonna be heels. It could be faces, but I'm assuming they're gonna be the monster heels to replace AOP in the tag team division. So overall, those two matches were fine, but I I would really go back to the Cara Sane Lacey Evans one, and I would maybe watch the last one between Heavy Machinery and Moss and Sabatelli, because like I said, I did find it a little more interesting than the women's matchup of the night, and also get to see the debut of War Raiders. So that's kind of my pick, but overall, it was like many of the NXTs after TakeOver, very underwhelming in my opinion. But anyways, till next time, see ya.